Welcome to this buyer's guide, and if you were able to join me last Friday when I looked at some CDs and vinyl for review, in that video I talked about a turntable review that I was supposed to be doing, and I was waiting for a gizmo to turn up in the post and then I could go and process the review and it would appear on this channel, and it hasn't turned up, so thank you, Mr. Postman, but hopefully it'll turn up very soon. In the meantime, I have a rather special buyer's guide for you, a long promised one that had been delayed on many occasions for a whole host of reasons, and it's finally here, and it's the Surfactant buyer's guide. Now, I used to have a Surfactant buyer's guide video on this channel and it was pulled. I took it off to upgrade it, to update the surfactants I had 4 originally. I wanted to drop one of those and I wanted to add 2 new surfactants. So what you've got in this buyer's guide are 5 surfactants reviewed. I've done as much testing as I possibly can with as many liquids as I can possibly grab, but there are other liquids out there that still need to be tested. One of them is one called Nonadet NP40. That was rather expensive, too expensive for me to buy in and test. When I was originally doing the research, a tiny bottle was £100, and as I was just about to do this filming, I saw a larger bottle for around £65, which is an improvement, but I'd like to get that price a little bit further down before I bring it in for a test and recommend it or not to your good self. So we'll see. Now, I've been testing and using vinyl cleaning products for, well, decades, I suppose. During that time, I've progressed from budget manual felt pads and brushes to manual cleaning machines, motorized cleaning machines with vacuum pumps of various types and quality, and finally ultra-modern and still developing ultrasonic technologies. Now, it's very easy to get carried away with the hardware, with the cleaning technology, with these fancy machines and these ultrasonic this and RCM that, but just see the hardware machine as one part of the recipe for cleaning your vinyl. It's one element. It might be the most impressive looking thing in your toolkit, but really it's just one element. So what I mean is, if you take away the liquids and the surfactants, if you just had the record cleaning machine, yes, it would do a decent job, but the efficiency and the quality of the vinyl clean itself would be drastically reduced. The actual technology itself is impressive and it's absolutely critical, but it's not everything. On the next rung down in terms of importance, as far as I'm concerned, is the surfactant. So what is surfactant? Well, a surfactant is basically a liquid that you apply to the record before the cleaning machine and any other cleaning liquid you might wish to use comes into play. It's there to aid and enhance the cleaning process. It doesn't actually clean the record itself, but it allows your vinyl cleaning machinery and liquid to do a better job. It assists them. I wouldn't dream of cleaning my records without a surfactant. So how does a surfactant help your cleaning hardware in its cleaning task? By reducing surface tension. When you use your favorite liquid to clean your record, no matter what piece of hardware is involved, when your cleaning liquid is in play, it has an issue. It can't get close enough to the vinyl to do its job because of surface tension. Don't forget, we're talking about cleaning grooves here, and they exist on a micro level. Hence, any surface tension existing in that area will act as a barrier. And because grooves are so small, that barrier is pretty large and strong. Thus, the effect prevents the cleaning liquid getting right up close to the vinyl surface, which reduces its effectiveness. Now, yes, if you use a cleaning liquid and a cleaning machine to clean your vinyl, it'll do a fine job indeed, and you will, or you should, hear a sonic benefit. There should be improvements in sound quality, but the efficiency, the actual degree of clean will be reduced because of the surface tension factor. So the surfactants will increase the quality of the clean and will improve the sound quality overall. Think of it in another way. The surfactant makes your cleaning liquid wetter. This is why you will see some commercial surfactants labelled as wetting agents. It's another name for the same thing. You'll find numerous wetting agents in photography, for example. They perform the same sort of tasks in that area too. Hence, if you look right up close and personal at your cleaning liquid, if you were able to look at the bits of the liquid that were doing the cleaning job, well, a surfactant allows those bits to have a more and greater contact with the vinyl surface. So how is a surfactant actually used? Well, ideally you apply a surfactant directly to the vinyl surface. Sometimes you can use a surfactant in a bath, in a manual cleaning bath like the Disco Antistat or an ultrasonic cleaning bath, something like that. But I found in my tests that adding a surfactant to a bath of a cleaning machine reduces the efficiency of the clean. The clean was fine, but you tend to want more when you actually hear the results. There is an improvement, but the improvement can and should be a lot more. So if you apply a surfactant directly to the vinyl surface, you will maximize the cleaning action. Now, you normally have to prepare the surfactants before use. Normally you would dilute it in distilled water, although some liquids arrive pre-diluted. Surfactants in their original and pure form are normally quite concentrated, so you might be diluting 1 part surfactant to 200 parts distilled water, although that varies depending on the product. Once mixed properly, you apply drops of the diluted surfactant to the vinyl surface. You spread that around the area of the vinyl with a brush or some such, and then insert that into your manual cleaner or your ultrasonic cleaner or whatever cleaning apparatus you have to hand, and then you clean as normal. When the cleaning and subsequent drying process has been completed, the surfactant should have been removed along with your normal cleaning liquid, leaving a spotless vinyl surface ready to play. And people who use a surfactant will just get on and play their vinyl, but I like to go through a rinse before I do that. When your vinyl cleaner removes the cleaning liquid and surfactants from the vinyl surface, there may be a little bit of residue. You can't see it, but it may still be there. Just to be cautious, I go through a rinse. So that's doing another clean without any surfactants on the actual vinyl surface. Just do a bare clean, and that will remove, or should remove, the rest of any residue. Why the rinse? Well, it's more caution, as I say, because I'm not sure about the long-term effects of any residue surfactant being in contact with vinyl over weeks, months, years. So I'd rather get rid of it just in case. Now, I'll leave the detailed step-by-step cleaning instructions of cleaning your vinyl with a surfactant to another feature or features, because I intend to create 3 cleaning features and videos in the future, so they'll appear on this channel and also my website. They will focus on cleaning your vinyl via manual methods, a vacuum-based cleaning machine, and an ultrasonic cleaner. Each will need different cleaning approaches. The publication of this surfactant video is a necessary precursor to those how-to cleaning articles, because surfactants will be mentioned in all of them. Now, in this guide I'll be presenting 5 surfactants, and each one, as I say, is recommended. So if you choose any of the 5, you'll do very well in your cleaning process. I do have my personal favorite or 2 in this group of 5, and I will tell you a little bit more about those during the actual sound tests. I used distilled water to do the diluting. Don't use tap water. Tap water is full of contaminants. It's full of impurities. I would also avoid deionized water or similar. mainly because I hear that the process to create that type of purification doesn't destroy the bacteria, whereas distilled water does destroy bacteria, and I'd rather have that out of the equation. So I recommend distilled water for your dilution. Now, if you are unsure about where to find actual bottles or barrels of distilled water, I'll put a link below in the description. Check that out if you need any help. As I said earlier, when you're diluting your surfactant, you'll be popping in a few drops of the surfactant into litres of water. That's the sort of ratio you'll need to expect. So be prepared to grab a spare bottle of a suitable size to store your diluted surfactant. Also, depending on the surfactant purchased, don't be surprised to see very small bottles of surfactant indeed. Don't be alarmed either. At the rate of normal vinyl cleaning use, even a tiny bottle of surfactant will last a very long time indeed, because, as I say, you're using just a few drops of surfactant into a litre or two of distilled water. And then it's going to take quite a while just to run through that first batch. Recommended storage containers for diluted surfactants are spring water bottles that you might pick up in a supermarket or general store. If you finish and use or just empty out the spring water, you need to just give it a quick wash. A quick wash with distilled water would be useful. And again, it's a good precaution in case there's any impurities left over. Don't use tap water for this cleaning, use distilled water. I would fill the spring water bottle to around a third capacity with distilled water, give it a good shake, empty that out, repeat twice more, and you're good to go. Make sure the bottle has a screw thread top. That'll just mean it's securely closed, and when you're storing it, store it in a dark, cool, dry place. Now, because I know I'll be cleaning lots of records for years to come, I like to grab a 25-litre barrel of distilled water, partly because it will last for a while and partly because buying in bulk saves cash. Then I store that on its side, having previously added a barrel-like tap, which you can buy separately and screw onto the container's outlet. Propped on its side in this way, you can then use the newly fitted tap to fill your empty litre container when necessary. When you've diluted your surfactant and you're standing there with your 2-litre bottle of diluted liquid, you'll need to decant that into a smaller bottle for day-to-day use. So as I say, it's a little bit unwieldy if you've got this 2-litre bottle and you're sort of upending it to add a couple of drops of diluted surfactants to your vinyl. You're going to drown your vinyl. You need to decant some of that 2-litre or 1-litre bottle of diluted surfactant. So I use a pipette bottle, that's a glass bottle with a pipette screw lid. I bought a set of 2 off Amazon, and again, I'll put a little link below in the description if you want to grab a couple for yourself. So what I do, I'm able to use the pipette to accurately add surfactant to the vinyl record, which means I'm better able not to wet the record label, the center label. I can accurately apply the surfactant just to the vinyl area itself. Now I can talk a lot more about the application of the surfactant, the do's and don'ts, and what to do and when in the vinyl cleaning features I mentioned earlier. So if you've got lots of questions popping up in your head right now, hopefully all will be answered within those forthcoming videos. For now, the tools I've mentioned will be ideal for the use of surfactant in vinyl cleaning. To test the surfactants, I used the best ultrasonic cleaner I could get my hands on, and that meant using a degritter. Testing one surfactant with another meant a lot of A/B tests and quite complex cleaning patterns. So the first surfactant I'm going to be looking at is this one. This is from Audiodesk, the same people who make the rather expensive ultrasonic cleaner. This one can be picked up at a variety of hi-fi retailers for somewhere around £14–15. Comes in this tiny bottle, but it's highly concentrated. And let me bring this to camera so you can have a better look. To be fair to Audiodesk, The company doesn't actually list this liquid as an on-disc surfactant per se, not because there's any risk of damage to your vinyl if applied directly, but because Audiodesk sees its best use as part of the machine's general cleaning process. Hence, you apply it to the bath of an ultrasonic cleaner, and the surfactant does its job as part of the larger cleaning process. It's a combo liquid, this thing, containing a surfactant but also cleaning ingredients, and I wanted to test it anyway. Well, I was just curious, really. You'll need to dilute this 35 milliliter bottle of liquid into around 4 to 4.5 liters of distilled water, which means it will last quite a while if used in an ultrasonic bath. And if you use this bottle of liquid directly to the vinyl surface, it'll last a long time. Now, I've no idea about the exact contents of the liquid because Audiodesk are keeping stum. However, I have learned that there's no alcohol in this, so it can safely be applied to the surface of your vinyl records. Now, I tested the liquid in an ultrasonic cleaning bath and then as a comparison also to the vinyl surface itself, and the performance applied directly to the vinyl surface was vastly improved over just emptying this stuff into a bath of distilled water. The cleaned disc showed improvements to the control within the mid-range, treble offered a better structure, and bass offered admirable character. The soundstage as a whole was quite coherent in its presentation. So a good start, and we're off and running, and we're going to look at another ultrasonic cleaning liquid, this time from Degritter themselves. This one's called Record Rinse Aid. Again, this is a concentrate. There's 100 milliliters of liquid here. What you'd normally do is add between 1 and 2 milliliters to the bath of your Degritter cleaning machine. Now, this liquid contains a measure of alcohol, so I would not actually recommend you apply this directly to your vinyl surface. The alcohol itself is too aggressive, so just use this as an application you would actually add to the bath of your manual or ultrasonic cleaning machine. Again, I'll bring this up to camera for you to have a little looky. Priced at €28, the Degritter liquid is good. Not great, but good. I do prefer it to the Audiodesk liquid, incidentally, in terms of its final frequency transparency, but it is relatively veiling when compared to specialist surfactants that we'll get to in a moment. Hence, its performance is good. You can hear sonic improvements, but you'll be a little bit frustrated because you'll be wanting a lot more. This mighty bottle of concentrate, 1 litres worth of concentrate, is from Ilford, the photography people, and this is Alphatol, and this will need diluting in distilled water as well. Now, I picked this up for £22, although you might find it cheaper, of course, and this stuff has a shelf life. Around 36 months is the recommended shelf life for this, maybe a little bit more. However, that's still going to give you an awful lot of value, and the 36 months is going to whiz by well before you use all of this surfactant in this bottle. Now, I tended to use a ratio of around 1 to 200. That's 1 drop of Alphatol to 200 drops of distilled water. It doesn't look anything special when you pour it out. It's just a clear, watery substance. In use, Alphatol was clearly a league ahead of the previous products, Audiodesk and Degritter liquids, and by some distance too, actually. The latter two products, speaking generally, sounded a little warmer and veiled by comparison. Alphatol sounded far more transparent and produced a superior soundstage where the presentation was airy in nature. I noted this effect while listening to a bass guitar in a select rock track and precise percussion strikes in jazz. The latter was crisp without being strident. I also thought the vocals were tighter and more emotive. This stuff even sought out those shy effects you might find lurking at the back of a typical music mix. This stuff sought it out, and you started to hear detail you hadn't really noticed before which was quite remarkable. The liquid itself also removed itself quite effectively from the vinyl surface. In short, the performance improvements were very large indeed, while the value was excellent. Now this little bottle of liquid is Triton X100, which sounds like a flying machine from the children's show Thunderbirds, but it's only about £10. That's what I picked it up from on eBay, and this is lab quality refined stuff, so it's very concentrated indeed. Comes with its own built-in dropper, if you can see that. These drops are micro drops, very, very tiny indeed. I'll bring this up to the camera in a second. Now you might have heard of Triton X100 in another wetting agent by Kodak called PhotoFlow, and I have issues with PhotoFlow, partly because of the reference material I've been sifting through to find out what actually is in PhotoFlow, because PhotoFlow is a recipe of bits and bobs. It's a collection of different chemicals. Now some reference materials say, oh, there's nothing much to it, there's just this Triton X100 and some distilled water and not much else. Others say there's alcohol in it. Others say there's no alcohol in it. Some say actually it's not Triton X100, it's Triton X114, which has slightly different properties, and on and on and on. Now, the problem I have with PhotoFlow is not really the product itself, it's the doubt. It's not really knowing what's inside it. So I'd rather avoid it just in case, and I'd rather get to the meat of the PhotoFlow, which is this Triton X100. So that's why I went for this on its own. This is the surfactant part of PhotoFlow anyway, so why not just go for the real thing? And as I say, this is a lab standard bottle of liquid. Now I used 20 micro drops in a 2-litre bottle of distilled water, and once those drops were resting on the bottle's base, I could hardly see them. The concentrate looked more like an accidental smear. That's how little was used. Shelf life on this liquid is excellent. Many years is the quote, the guesstimate quote I've read on certain science tech websites. Of course, this means storage in a low light, cool and dry place. In sound terms, well, there's plenty of detail available here, set within a spacious and wide soundstage. Vocals offered emotion and a remarkable texture. Bass was organic, while the upper mids provided a dynamic reach that had you glued to the music, expectant about what was to follow, what riches of information were about to spill from the speakers. The bass too offered plenty of attributes, with a weight and heft that provided plenty of power. Just to provide a bit of context, the difference between the Audiodesk and the Degritter and the Alphatol was pretty big indeed, but the difference between the Alphatol and the X100 was small, relatively subtle. The differences were there, and the differences were still noticeable. As I say, the improvements were relatively small, but large enough for me to drop Alphatol and head straight to Triton X100. Of all the surfactants I've tested so far, the Triton X100 was the clear winner, which just leaves one more, and that's Tergotol, available in this branded bottle, and the brand itself is called Tergiclean, which I had to order from the USA via eBay. Now, I found 2 suppliers on eBay. This particular bottle I found for £27, and that's the lowest of the 2 prices I saw. Now, Tergotol is used in Canada and the USA in the archive business, and not just for vinyl, for other substances too. It's quite a widely used liquid. Now, there's 30 millilitres in this bottle, but it actually makes up around 30 gallons of diluted surfactant, which is an awful lot. There's a shelf life on this too of around 2 years, so the shelf life will pass before you finish this bottle, I'm sure. Now, I used again around 10 drops per litre. I had a 2-litre bottle and I diluted 2 litres with 20 drops. When compared to Alphatol, Tergotol opened up the mid-range extending the dynamic reach of both the mid-range itself and the treble. Acoustic guitars were smooth but also incisive. Vocals offered more grain and texture, which created a lot of emotion. Harmonies doubly so. Bass percussion was organic with a real impact, while the nature of the impact was also full of character. Not only that, but previously shy instruments buried in the mix began to emerge into the light. So what's my overall conclusions then when looking at which surfactants to actually buy? Well, as I say, all 5 of these surfactants are recommended. They all do the job. I would probably say that it might be best to leave the Audiodesk and degritter liquids to their respected ultrasonic cleaners and use those as instructed by the companies themselves for those cleaners. If you're using Alphatol, go ahead and carry on using Alphatol. It's an excellent surfactant, highly recommended, and if you're happy with the Alphatol performance, go ahead and carry on using it. What I would recommend doing is keep on going until you get to the end of your best before date, and then once you've hit that point, just think about experimenting with either Triton X100 or Tergotol. Speaking of which, well, both Triton X100 and Tergotol are excellent in performance terms and both offer top-notch performance. To be honest, I'd be happy to use either or both. Differences? Well, they are there. Very subtle, I have to say, but the differences are there. If I was to pin each down, I would say that Tergotol provides slightly more air in the mid-range, a slightly extended dynamic reach, and the opportunity for more upper frequency detail to enter the soundstage. As for Triton X100, if anything, it offers a superior tonal balance with a stronger bass, a better foundation for all instruments across the soundstage, and a stronger presentation. Bottom line, well, if I was going to whittle the 2 liquids down to a sound bite, I would say that Tergotol offers slightly superior upper frequencies and Triton X100 provides slightly superior lower frequencies. Now I'm looking for a surfactant that provides both. For now, I will stick with Tergotol because I hear a smidgen more information coming through via that liquid, but I will continue to test the Triton X100, which is, I have to emphasize, excellent in performance terms. Now, there will be a batch of links below in the description actually detailing where you can find some of the bits and bobs I've just mentioned in the video, including the surfactants and some of the other tools I mentioned earlier on in the video. So check the description for those. In the meantime, that's me done. I'm finished. It's been quite a long video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for staying to the end, and thank you very much for your support, for your subscriptions and your likes. It's much appreciated. I'm going to be away for, well, about a week because I didn't get a break over summer, and this is my last chance before the big Christmas roll-up. So it's going to be a busy time as ever towards Christmas. So I thought I'd take a quick break now. So I'll leave you with this video, and the next video probably will be around a week Friday, I would guess. Hope you can join me at that time. Until then, bye bye for now.